What's poppin', everybody? I'm Mike,
I'm Brian.
and this is Hoopin' with Mike and Brian, and welcome to another beautiful episode. Today, we are in the finals. Current day, it is Friday, June 9th, 2023, and we are here with a very, very special guest. Brian, I'll let you take it from here. You do your little intros, do your little thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out, Mike, man. Good to be back in the stew. But as you know, follow the socials at Hoopin with Mike and Brian on YouTube and also on all streaming platforms. Also, we're at hoopin.mb on Instagram and TikTok, and hoopin_mb on Twitter. As you know, you can swipe over on Instagram stories, show support any way as possible. And as Mike said, special guest in the building, my A1 day one, Alexander Daniel Ricardo, my point guard, my dog. I'll let him talk a little bit about himself and his interest in the game of basketball. But he's a great guest to have on the show. Got superb basketball knowledge. And Alex, I'll let you take it from here.
Thanks, B. I'm Alex. I'm from the same town that Brian's from, in New Jersey. We played basketball together for since we've been in middle school. So I've always been the point guard. He's always been the two. We've always sort of ran that. But I love the game of basketball. I love watching basketball. I love playing basketball. I don't play in college, but I still play whenever I get free time. And I'm currently in a really good state right now because I'm also a Heat fan, just like Mike. So being able to watch them in the finals is an experience I did not think I was going to get this year. So I'm really excited about that.
Yes, sir. That brings a tear to my eye, Alex. I mean, for me personally, I'm not happy to be here because I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm sitting here with two Heat fans. But it's good to see when the boys are up. I feel better about myself. And then Mike, I'll let you take it from here.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Alex is definitely a great blessing to meet you, my guy. I've heard a lot about you from Brian. He's told me about his other fellow Heat in his life, so it's definitely good to hear.
Right.
Man, I have seen, the good buddies. I see the IG, man. Alex, my guy, you can hoop pretty well, my man. I see the little lay you have in a video, my guy. I was like, okay, I can hoop. I like it. So, I played with Brian before, and this guy is an absolute stud over here. Doesn't like to pass the ball sometimes, but stud, absolute stud. I love the man.
I had to do what it took to lose, man, because we were 0-3.
And it was a very fun time, man. Brian was.
I blame Coach Tanner Lambert because he didn't play Mike in Game 3. He played Mike like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
The Good Buddies season is just around the corner. It starts the week of June 26th. Be sure to follow that Instagram account. And we're coming different. We had a couple situations last year. We weren't fully healthy, but we have a full new squad going this year, and it's going to be a season for history, a season to remember. I don't know how else to put it, but.
No, it definitely is.
That's right.
It's gonna be so cool. I'm gonna stay so updated. So you better, whoever is the head of that, please keep that updated because I'm gonna be checking it out every day when the things are posting. But my man Alex, I gotta ask a question. It's just what I do to all my Heat people, man. What gravitated you, being from where you are, being from where you're from, and everything? What gravitated you to become a Miami Heat fan? Just gotta ask that question.
So I'm not gonna lie. When I started being a Heat fan, it was to be a front runner. It was back in 2012, 2013 when LeBron and the big three, LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh. But my best friend in elementary school at the time was a Heat fan for whatever reason. So I started watching basketball, and since he was my best friend at the time, I just started watching the same team that he was, and it turned out to be one of the best teams of all time. And then, I got jerseys, I got shirts and stuff like that. So I just sort of stuck with it. And then as I continued to learn the game more and whatnot, like I started to develop a love for, might be annoying to hear, but the Heat culture. I love the way we play. I love our organization, the way we operate. So that love for the Heat just sort of stuck with me, and now I'm here.
There you go. I like it. No, I definitely like that you bring up the Heat culture because growing up and always being even just a regular Heat fan. Dwayne Wade's my guy. Always been my guy. You can ask Brian, Marquette, everything.
Yeah.
That's why I love Jimmy Butler when he was coming to Miami and everything.
Yeah.
But Yeah, definitely the Heat culture. It's crazy because you would think we're big city people, or you would think, oh, it's Miami. Everyone wants to be in South Beach. It's big city. We're like LA. We're a bunch of drama queens, but we grind, we grind, we grind, we grind. We really depend on guys that we develop through, really G League now at this point. We love getting our great European guys. I mean, even perfect example over here, Goran Dragic, our guy, the Dragon.
Yes, sir.
I mean, even Usis was kind of like a little pathway for European players coming overseas because, I mean, Goran Dragic knew Luka was going to be a beast before Luka was even in the NBA. So, that was always great. But, yeah, no, definitely with the Heat culture, man, we are just hard-nosed grinding. And, I mean, just to kind of segue into that, man, we're in the finals. Something that we did not, even as good, even as a Heat fan as you are, even as a Heat fan as me, it's like we did not think we were going to get this far at all. We lost to the Hawks in a play-in, which were like
Almost lost the Bulls.
almost almost lost the Bulls and everything, but the I was really depressed about the Hawks thing because I thought we were going to wipe them out because we got them controlled, everything from last year, but that confidence coffee, man. That confidence coffee with Jimmy Butler, man, is going crazy right now. And even though
I think it worked out though. I think it worked out in hindsight losing to the Hawks.
I think it did because I mean, I don't know, but
I mean, who knows? You play Boston in the first round. You would have played Boston as the 7th seed, as opposed to playing them in the conference finals where your team's already hot. Obviously, in hindsight, it probably worked out. I mean, obviously, you didn't know that Giannis was going to get hurt, but I mean, it's all part of the game. But
I just think with that, I was just catching on with the Heat culture. That is just like God, we grinded out every little. We went up against every little scenario where it was just like we had no chance. No chance. Everyone was like, "You're not gonna win. This is nothing." Like really, the only big time where it was just like even or it was whatever was when we played the Knicks because it was just like even though the Knicks were great, yes, it's just your guys' experience against ours was just like okay, we might as well be like this is an even matchup. This is the only time where it was like okay, we might have a chance. They're still a better team, but like we were at least there. When it was against the Bucks, it was like we were down here. We're not going to win even 1, 2, 3, and 4. It was all crazy, and we've gotten to this point, and I mean, we're fighting hard right now, but we got to get into this. Last game I wasn't happy. I was not happy. We lost. We started losing right into the third quarter, where usually we're prime. They started running away. They started clicking on every single level. Jokic was doing everything, and Jamal Murray was doing everything. I know that's your guy, bro. I know you love Jamal Murray. But I would love to get into this, man. Games 1 through 3. I've been a little bit. I'm glad we took one game. I'm so happy that we took one game. But going now into this, it's just like, ooh, it's kind of scary when I see the Nuggets playing like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think also part of it was obviously stealing one game. I believe it was in Denver, right? Yeah, you guys won game 2 in Denver, so obviously that helps stealing one game, and now all you have to do is protect home court tonight. But I think a lot of it came down to playoff Jimmy. I think he hasn't really been as aggressive as he was in especially in the Bucks series. There's a bunch of times where he's passing up mid ranges and whatnot, so. I think also when you guys don't shoot well from 3, when the role players aren't shooting well, like Gabe Vincent, not Gabe. Well, I guess Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, when they're not shooting well from 3, it's going to be hard to beat a team like the Nuggets. So obviously, and also the Joker's just on another level with Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon. And when Michael Porter Jr. wants to crash the glass, he's much better and he's way more effective. So this Denver team's got literally every single aspect covered. They do it all. So my thoughts on it is you're down 2-1. You got to protect home court tonight, but I'd like to see a more aggressive Jimmy, a more efficient Jimmy, because he's always been someone who usually he doesn't have to take a ton of shots to score a lot, and he hasn't really been very efficient, or at least in game 3. So those are my thoughts. But Alex, I'll let you chime in and let me know your thoughts on the first couple games.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the whole Jimmy thing, like he definitely, I don't know if it's like him mentally like trying to switch things up. Like I don't know if that's part of the game plan, whatever. But he's definitely not as consistent in terms of being aggressive In game three, he definitely was a little bit more in the first half, but then it seemed like in the second half he just sort of just turned that off. But we're always our best when he's attacking the basket because he's such a good player and he can finish at the rim really well and get to the foul line. And when you take some of the focus away from Bam and you split that between Bam and Jimmy, that opens it up for Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson to hit their shots. Now, like you said, they have to hit their shots. Max Strus has been very inconsistent this series, but like Jimmy attacking the basket and Jimmy being aggressive is what we need to win this game tonight. So I really hope we get playoff Jimmy tonight.
Yeah, I think when he's aggressive, everyone else just feeds off of that. So when he's not, getting to the rim or taking those mid-range jump shots, which he should never pass up because it's pretty much an automatic make. It's going to be hard for him to beat a team like the Nuggets. And like the guy there's just some guys in the league, obviously Jimmy included, where like you're never going to be able to stop them. It's just about containing them and making someone else beat you. And then you have Jamal Murray, and then when Michael Porter Jr. is making shots, KCP. It's going to be tough for anyone to beat that team. But it's 2-1, and I mean the Heat, as Mike said before, like everyone other than the Knicks series, they're pretty much never chosen by anybody to win that series. So it's early in the series, still plenty of basketball left to be played. But if they can get one tonight, the series is going to get interesting. Because honestly, nobody really thought, outside of Heat fans, probably nobody thought they were going to get a game in Denver, and they did. So protect home court tonight, and that's really all you can do. And Jimmy's done a good job of like not letting the last game kind of affect him. I just like to see him be more aggressive, as Alex said. So that's what it's going to come down to, man.
Yeah, no, I definitely oh my Lord. I think so much just having a guy like Jimmy Butler on the team because it's definitely the tradition. I mean, I just saw an interview I think today just with old Jimmy about talking about like when he was originally on the Bulls about why he's so confrontational and why he wants like just everything. It was almost like he talked about how like guys like Joakim Noah, Luol Deng, like these crazy names, Carlos Boozer, like kind of like near older guys that were playing with Derrick Rose at such a young age who was an MVP were yelling at him at practice. And Jimmy Butler's the 15th guy on the team because he just got picked, like last pick, undrafted. So he's just
Jimmy?
I think he was last pick. He was like
I think Jimmy was like the 30th pick.
30th
I think
pick,
he was like
last
the last
pick out of Marquette
sure.
and everything. I think he went undrafted. See, we just know how to get the right undrafted guys on the Miami Heat, but he was talking about how just like everybody was just it didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter if you were the star of the player. It didn't matter if you were all the way at the end of the bench. If you miss your assignment, you mess anything up, they were dogging you. They were on top of you. They treated you like how you treat a star. And Jimmy has brought that same tradition, even though we've kind of had the tradition in Miami already, where it's just like everyone gets a chance, everyone is a top dog. Don't leave anybody out for anything. But he brought it even more, and he's up to the level of so many players on our team that no one even could even care about.
Yeah.
Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson. I mean, even Tyler Zeller's come in at key points. He was a good little veteran pickup. Kevin Love has even upped his game a little bit, and I was a little bit upset, Brian, if you remember when they picked him up, because I was just like, do we need it? Worked out very well. Him and Jimmy.
Highsmith has played well. I don't know if Highsmith has seen a ton.
He hasn't really played in Denver,
but in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm like, dude, this kid's got to play more.
He can guard very, very well. I don't know why we don't play him because he's able to stand. I mean, he was able to guard Jason Tatum. Like he stole the ball from Jason Tatum like twice in key moments. So I just know with this tradition that we have, I like that we don't get fazed by just losing, by being able just to be like, all right, we messed up. Yeah, we let him go. We started turning over the ball because right now, I mean, it's happened every single round. We have been outmatched offensively, every single round. Every team has had better offensives than us by far. So I think right now we have to focus on two things, and I think these hurt us the most because this is what happens when you're more of a defensive team. This is what you have to rely on. We have to win the turnover battle game and rebounds because we saw we do not need to have Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray having a triple-double with almost 20 rebounds each. Like, that's just ridiculous. So it's two big things. I know we're going to be able to come back this game. It's all about just getting effort and just make sure we win those two things. Because I know if we win those two things, Jokic is going to go off. We all know that. Jokic is going to go off, do his thing. Jamal Murray is probably going to go off, but we'll have to see who we're slowing down at that point.
Yeah, I have a question, I guess, for both of you guys, because this is probably more of what a Heat fan can answer, but I know you guys have probably seen like the press conferences where Jimmy's like kind of nonchalant after like losses. Like, are you guys a fan of that? Like, would you rather him like, you know what I mean though? Like how he's been saying like at the teams going to see movies and stuff. Like, is that something you guys care about? Does he think it affects it at all? Is that the mindset you want him to have where he's not like over like letting the last game affect his next game and whatnot, that mentality? Because whenever I see that stuff, the thing that I just think is like Kobe. If that was Kobe, like Kobe would not like Kobe's like it's all about basketball. Because Jimmy was saying like it's not all just about basketball. But like the first thing I thought of like, bro, if Kobe heard that, I feel like um would like shake his head. But I mean, what do I know? But I'm just asking like as a Heat fan, like do you guys like care about that stuff or not really?
You know what? Like, I I see what you're saying. Like with the whole Kobe thing. Um, like if you're just looking at it, like if you just look at the interviews and you don't see how the Heat are doing as a team, you would be concerned because it's like kind of a not weird, but it's a different attitude to be like, yeah, we just lost this game, but like we're not worried about it. But the fact that we are in the finals right now and Jimmy has
Yeah,
maintained that attitude throughout the entire playoffs, like
that's true.
something's got to be working there.
That's true.
So it's like
Why
it's
change
like it
that?
may be definitely might be a little unorthodox
Mhm.
to have a mindset like that, but whatever it is, it's working.
That's fair.
So I don't really got an issue with it.
Yeah. No, I think, and if it's working, I mean, why change it? So yeah, that makes I got you, Mike. What's your thoughts?
To be honest, it kind of just I feel like keeps us humble. I think it definitely doesn't let any
Yeah,
guys get a higher head. I definitely understand the whole Kobe thing, the mom mentality, just like job's unfinished. Like we still got 3 more games to win. We still got 3 more games to win and everything. So I mean, I like it because definitely with guys like Gabe Vincent, all these undrafted guys, I mean, I'm not saying they don't want to win a championship, but you never know. You could be like they could just be trying to get their shine to get a bag next year if they wanted to, and they know that even with the fact that they're performing so well right now, they might go get one. Because I told you last episode that I'm like I love that Caleb Barton is an absolute dog doing amazing things for us, has improved from the year before and has done tremendously for us in such key moments. Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, even the second round against the Knicks, he even started making good shots in the corner. I mean, that he was struggling in the corner last year, struggling, and now he improved it. Has played so much well, but yeah, and they all have this confidence on the team that is just like you can't hang your head over the last game. You just don't think about the loss. You obviously go back into the workshop and just get back to work. I mean, really, you do that. I mean, really, it's for us. We have the effort. We have the defense. We know that's gonna be there. We know like that's our cup of tea. Defense. We know where our effort's gonna be there. It's just offensively. It's really
yeah,
been, dang, we're missing this shot. Dang, we should have made this shot. Oh, this is open. Oh, why didn't we make that pass? I turn it over here. It's been little things on offense where it's just like, because
yeah,
then the Nuggets,
yeah.
we know they're gonna score. We know they're just gonna keep going and blah blah blah. It's quick offense for them. They don't. Their defense is good enough. They have the bodies. They're obviously bigger, which that's one thing I've kind of seen the outmatch is that they're a little bit bigger than us, but they're there. They got the length and everything. So them just being able to get rebounds and just throw it out, been easy for them. So
Yeah, I think this I've seen. I guess I saw a lot on social media, like Instagram and Twitter and whatnot. Obviously, people are like criticizing. I think it was after game one, like Jimmy Butler's play, like just like his aggressiveness. And I said to ourselves, me and Alex both said like he wasn't being aggressive enough, and I think that's true. And also, but like one thing about Jimmy though is like when you're watching the game though, he always made like the right read, like the right pass. There's a bunch of times like he made the right pass. It's just like the shooters didn't make their shots, and like the Heat rely on their 3-point shooting. That's why they beat the Knicks. That's also why they beat the Bucks and the Celtics, obviously, because they just when their shots are on, they're gonna out hustle you. And if Jimmy's doing Jimmy things, plus the role players are stepping up, nobody can beat that team. The only problem for the Heat is like the Nuggets can kind of match that. I guess I don't want to say their play style because it's different, but they both have guys off the bench because I think the Heat kind of I guess had an advantage in terms of like the role players stepping up in the first couple rounds, and this is like the first round where I think they're really being battle tested with like the role players because you're seeing Christian Brown. Um, who we saw play against West Virginia. It's funny because you see guys in college like Christian Brown. Christian Brown, he was a guy who was putting up 20, like doing everything for his team, and now he goes to a situation where he's a first round pick, but his job is literally go out there, shoot it if he's open, but provide like hustle, and it's just interesting to see, and that's why I think the Nuggets are in the position they are because you're taking one of the best players in college basketball last year and turning him into a role player and helping a championship team. That's why I think these two teams are in the finals because they both have coaches who the players have bought into that system.
Mhm.
And I think it's interesting, and I think it makes sense why these two teams are in the finals. Not that I thought this was going to happen before the playoffs or in the regular season that this would be the final matchup, but it's just interesting to see that and I've said it before, Mike. I probably sound like a broken record, but the amount of having role players and having guys 1 through 10 who can contribute outweighs having those stars, like you've seen with the Suns, even the Suns this year, and the Nets in recent years. So that's why these two teams are where they are. So I don't expect the Nuggets to just roll over the Heat and blow them out for the last 3 games. I think the Heat are going to put up a fight, and as a Knicks fan, I'm just really hoping for good games because we saw a couple blowouts here and there. But yeah, that's just my thought on that.
No, definitely. I mean, the only thing I could say here is, I mean, you could definitely. I mean, I'm not going to say only LeBron's been the prime example of it, but I mean, you can maybe bring a team that doesn't look that good on paper or names that people are just like, why is this guy in the finals? You can bring a team to the finals, but I don't think you can win without your team. Like you said, 1 through 10, you need the whole team to buy into the system. We had to buy into the system when LeBron came on the team. That first year, that was one of the worst losses I've ever seen in the finals. Like LeBron collapsing against the Mavericks, playing against old Dirk, old Jason Kidd, and that was because nobody bought in the system. LeBron was contemplating on if he was a leader, even though you're the best player in the world at the time, dude. What do you think? You're supposed to be a leader team. I get it. You're coming to South Beach. It's Dwayne Wade's team, and I fully understand it because I kind of was like, oh, well, I love LeBron. I know he's the best player in the world right now. He's the best player. I mean, we've talked. He's probably my GOAT, but.
Oh, okay, Alex, who's the GOAT, man? Who's the GOAT? Let's hear from a Heat fan. Alex, who's the greatest basketball player of all time?
I've been going back and forth with
conversation.
I would say
LeBron makes it hard.
I would say
he's making it harder to pull for Jordan. I mean, I still think it's Jordan, but
right now, I think, and I mean, this answer has changed, but I think it's LeBron.
Oh God!
I do, and I hate it because it's like our friend Hayes always is pounding us about how he thinks LeBron's the GOAT, and I hate to agree with him, but it's
LeBron's making it harder to say it is.
Yeah, his longevity and his success. I know they got swept by the Nuggets, but his success long term, that is unmatched. I've never there is no NBA player that has had this success for this amount of time. So
I'm just kidding.
You're horrible. You're just horrible. You just love putting your little things in it.
But Scalabrine is a dog.
Yeah, I know. Michael Jordan was great. I love Michael Jordan. I think he definitely. I think their presence was really a huge benefactor for both of them. I mean, in the meantime, before Michael Jordan, all you had was what? Celtics, Lakers. All you had was Showtime Lakers with Magic Johnson, Kareem, and then you go to the Larry Bird, his floppy hair everywhere. I mean, even black and white TVs were still going on at that time. Right when Jordan was coming in, it was color TVs. People are seeing prime time, more NBA games. I love it because then LeBron took the same type of stance at the same point because he was coming in best high school player we've ever seen, the chosen one, the king. We've never heard of this guy. It was crazy. This is probably the greatest thing we've ever seen since Michael Jordan, and he had the comparisons right away that it was just.
And he exceeded the expectations too.
He exceeded it, and he exceeded because people like that, people that get that comparison now, or even what we've seen in recent years with guys that are like, oh, they're the best player. They can possibly be the best player. They can pass LeBron. They're the comparison to LeBron. I'm sorry, those guys haven't worked out. They're not a lot of them are still in the league. There's guys that have been but we'll see because the same type of presence now we're starting to see the generational crazy thing because now we have this 7'5" monster coming to the league next year who could do absolutely everything and shoot it from the gym, shoot right when he gets in the gym. So it's crazy to see. He's getting comparisons as probably one of the greatest players to play potentially because he's just so 7'5". He's a crazy phenomenon that we're seeing now. But I think definitely with that LeBron, MJ, like you said, Brian, we talked about it before. That conversation's
It's just never good. We had that conversation with our boy Tanner Mounts, but like it's one of those debates. Like the errors are different, so it's hard to always compare that stuff. But that's one of those conversations that's never going to end. But Alex, we kind of asked my dad this when he came on the show. Um, so if you had to make like let's say a Mount Rushmore of basketball, it doesn't have to be the top 4 players of all time, but maybe just if you're gonna when you hear like the term NBA, like what are the 4 guys like you personally like think like kind of like change the game or have like the biggest impact in whatever way?
I think you got to put LeBron and Jordan up there. I
Mhm.
think that's like sort of a no-brainer. I think they're both. You can make a case for either of them being the greatest of all time. The next change in the game, I'm a huge Steph Curry guy.
Yeah, I think Curry
Like
was
without him, like this game would be so different. So I think Steph Curry gets a spot up there. And then with that 4th spot, I mean, I think it's sort of like a toss-up because you can put it on like Kareem or Magic, but I'm gonna go with Kobe. I think Kobe,
I like that.
and I know that's like I can see your reaction with that, but Kobe was generational. Like he was very similar to Michael in his play style, but watching him play, watching his highlights, and I mean, I wasn't old enough to really watch him when he was in his prime with Shaq, but my goodness, was he was such a good player. So I think he deserves a spot up there.
I think that's probably the list I would have in terms of Mount Rushmore. But I also wanted your thoughts. I think Mike. I think we talked. This was a conversation for a little bit of last week's episode. We just steered that way. What do you think about Tim Duncan? Like, we think he's very
he's
undervalued.
so undervalued, and that drives me insane.
Like, what are your
For
thoughts on
sure.
Tim Duncan?
What are my thoughts? That you see, as a Heat fan, that's like
Yeah,
that's there's a lot to that because it's like I watched all of our finals appearances with the Spurs, and Tim Duncan killed us. Like both finals appearances, we went to 7. We were a tipping away from losing that 2013 finals. Like Tim Duncan is he is so good, and I think you could put him in the Mount Rushmore conversation also. But I think that the reason that he doesn't get enough respect is because of how quiet he was, and like he wasn't very flashy. He went in, he got the work done. Like if he played the generation now where we have all this media coverage, like he wouldn't be covered like Nikola Jokic is and all that kind of stuff. He's not as flashy, but he
yeah.
he was that guy.
I've said it to my. I'll tell you, but like the Heat kind of like not. I'm not saying they ruined his legacy, but if Tim Duncan goes 6-0 in the finals as opposed to 5-1 losing to the Heat, he's in a whole different conversation. Which I don't think it should change how we talk about Tim Duncan. But I do agree, kind of just the way he is, and also like, yeah, he's not flashy. He just went out there and did his job, but he was just really exceptional at it. I mean, he's Mr. Fundamental for a reason. But no, I think you hit on all the points we were talking about.
There's one little narrative that I don't like about the whole fact that like I know there's a record, right? There's everyone they talk about the record. You get to the finals and stuff like that, and I understand that. I could be like, okay, LeBron's negative in the finals. He's 3, 4, and 6. There's guys have been. The reason why I don't like it is like we take so much pride in the NBA finals. There's teams that don't even make it to the finals. There's teams that haven't still made it to the finals. There's teams that have gone once and they've never been back there again. So I get the whole record thing, and that's always a comparison. And definitely compare that. I just feel like that kind of just undervalues guys that like it undervalues guys like later on with Jimmy Butler. Like you think maybe he goes to the final. Oh well, he was up, but look at the teams that he's bringing. I'm sorry, we're bringing Gabe Vincent, Max Strus. No offense, I love them. They're my guys, but. Are they going to be remembered? I hope so. When at the end of the career, I hope they're remembered. But everyone right now is like, look at the team Jimmy Butler, like even Gilbert Arenas. I'm sorry, I always have to quote Gilbert Arenas recently because I love his show. Gilbert Arenas is an amazing show. Definitely got to check it out. But he said like Why can't Jimmy Butler be the best player in the world? Look what he's bringing with him. And is Jimmy Butler a guy that's still undervalued, even with what he's done in his resume in the last 4 years? It's ridiculous that this whole thing, the narrative against the whole fact, oh, this guy's like 1 for something, 1 for 4 in the finals, he can't win. It's just like, dude, like the fact that he went to 5 finals and he's a star player on this team, or I'm not even saying Jimmy Butler, I'm just trying to bring up an example, but Jimmy Butler in the last 4 years has gone to the finals twice. Twice. Jimmy? We thought Jimmy Butler was going to be in the finals when he came to the Heat 2 times. 2 times. Did we all think that? Because I didn't. And I'm a Heat fan. I was like, at best, we make it to the Eastern Conference. At best, we go to the second round. I don't know. I thought we were kind of going a little bit into almost like a rebuilding, almost kind of building around Bam and Tyler. But Jimmy was like, finals. We're going finals. We're here now, so it's just crazy. But those conversations, the whole MJ, LeBron, I feel like, to me, I get annoyed because I very value guys that just kind of don't get the fame, kind of just do their job. It's not like even Tim Duncan just did his job, didn't ask for fame whenever he was questioned social media, anything. It was always the most basic, lay term, like just how'd you win this game? Well, we won with rebounds. We did this. We out rebounded. We did the game plan, and look how successful he was. So I feel like just with the MJ LeBron talk, it's always fun to talk about, and you can keep going down the list. It's just they both just have everything. They're both the greatest players of all time. I just think it kind of undervalues other greats. Like it literally blinds. It's tunnel vision for everybody. It blinds. We undervalue Tim Duncan. We undervalue guys that even never won a championship, like Charles Barkley, AI. Like we undervalue those guys at times because we're too focused on up here rather than guys that have done it, and they probably did it at a better level sometimes too. And we ignore that sometimes, and I don't appreciate that. Because then we got guys like now Jimmy Butler that get very underappreciated, and he has a resume to back up like he's a superstar, a best player in the world almost in a way, maybe playoff wise for sure, but it's a crazy conversation when it comes to, because I mean, we can also get in the conversation about like who's the best player in the world right now, and are we going to say is it the fact that it's Nikola Jokic because he won MVP, or no, not that he won MVP, but Joel Embiid winning MVP, is he the best player in the world because he's MVP of the league? But we see how hot he performed in the playoffs. Is that the best player in the world? I don't think that's the best player in the world.
Yeah.
So
it's the Joker. I don't even like. I think. I mean, I'm not just saying that because he's the best player on a team who wins away from a championship. I thought he was the best player in the regular season. And I think it's the way he elevates his team's game. And like I remember, I went on that rant earlier in the season, which in hindsight I probably regret. Where when the Joker gets all these triple doubles, it's like amazing. But when Westbrook did it, people were critical. But I mean, the only difference is the Joker's he's ridiculously efficient when he does it. So it's like I get it. And after paying attention to it more and seeing the other side of things, I think it's the Joker. But Alex, what do you think? Who do you think is the best player in the world right now?
I think it's the Joker, and I hate it. Like, because I'm not a Jokic. Like, I think Jokic is a great player, but like as a Heat fan, with the stuff that happened last year with Marcus Morris, or it might have been Markieff, I don't know. He was a bum on the Heat, anyways. But like that whole situation, like I did not like Nikola Jokic, but watching these finals and watching these playoffs, like he can do everything, and he could do it with such ease. So I think he's the best player in the world. I think Embiid won the MVP because of the whole Nikola Jokic can't win 3 MVPs in a row. Like I think that's the narrative, but Nikola Jokic for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, Mike was on Jokic and the Denver Nuggets pretty much before anybody else. Like he was telling me like. Probably before the season. Well, we started the podcast right when the season started, but he was one telling me about the Joker, and even before the playoffs, like the Nuggets, people were sleeping on the Nuggets and the Joker, and they were the 1 seed. They were the best team in the league, I guess, record wise behind the Bucks, maybe. But like I know Mike was on Jokic before. Like I can only speak for West Virginia, and Morgantown, but before most people I talked to at school were on the Nuggets. So I got to give credit to Mike, but yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying, Alex. I mean, it's kind of hard to not say Jokic is, the best player in the world right now.
Yeah.
It's so hard not to because I mean this dude dominates at every level. I mean I know he's not the prototypical guy being a big man, but he's getting comparisons where he's as dominant as Shaq, and it's crazy because he doesn't even seem like he dominates. But I've heard so many stories, like even players now how they talk, like because now he's I think everybody in the league even thinks like this dude's like the next. I think other guys in the league genuinely agree that like he's the best player in the world. He's the best player right now because like you can't guard him at any level. You try to throw bodies at him. You try to throw everything. We're throwing everything and more at him, and he's still getting triple doubles. Like that's crazy, and he's just. I've always paid attention to Nikola Jokic. I've always loved a big man that could do a little bit of everything. I mean, it's always fun to see that. And I mean, that's the type of. I mean, that's even what I kind of talked about earlier about just like generational talent, how it's becoming. I like when a person can do a little bit of everything, and I feel like Nikola Jokic does a lot for what he even looks like. I mean, even from the eye test, you look at Nikola Jokic, you're like, this guy can play basketball. This guy's good. Like I don't even know. Like guys, even when Michael Porter Jr. was talking about being drafted, he was like, I didn't think Michael Porter Jr. was real, or he was like, I didn't think Nikola Jokic was really anything. Like the only thing he heard about Nikola Jokic when he joined the team was that Nikola Jokic would go back home to Serbia, go hunting, not even work out. Like maybe he did, but like he was like, oh, he didn't work out, like he didn't care. And he would come back preseason, like go to workouts, not even nonchalant be playing, and then just turn on a switch and he's literally triple diamond everybody. His step backs are crazy. This dude is just he dominates you at every level. He even bangs down low with the best. I mean, I think he was top 5 in reboundings. He brought top.
Yeah, he averaged. He was definitely
He's
he averaged
averaged
like
a
10
triple
points.
double. Did he average triple or
He was like two away. I don't think they round up, but he might have ended up getting it over the top. I think he averaged like 24, 10 and 9 or something like that,
10-9? And he
which is
he
crazy. But it's the efficiency, which is the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah, you know what the thing? I
Yeah.
think JJ Redick brought it up yesterday because did you hear Stephen A. Smith say some ridiculous stuff? He said Nikola Jokic. They said the Heat should have Nikola Jokic post up more because he's not good at.
Oh, I
I
did.
was
Yeah,
like,
he's the
That is
I was
ridiculous.
like, wait, what did he just say? And JJ Redick was like, do you not know what the number one efficient who has the number one efficient score? It's literally a post up for Nikola Jokic.
yeah.
What?
Like I get it because I think like when you think of posting up, like maybe he's trying to think of like Shaq where he would just be more dominant, but like I think in a way it's just as dominant, just in a different way.
Dude,
Like it's just different how dominant he is,
yeah.
and like that's what I don't understand. Like I mean JJ Redick. The only thing I don't like about JJ Redick is when he's on those shows, he likes to pull out his NBA card. He'll be like, "Oh, you didn't play in the NBA," but I mean, he kind of just like that was something I was watching. I was like, okay, like Stephen A. Like, just admit you're wrong at that point. Like, there's nothing you can really do. But not to just kind of segue into a different thing, but I'll ask both of you guys. Like, I guess because the Heat have had their runs in the last like decade or so, probably more than a decade. But who's like, I guess you give me like one or two guys, like a random like Heat player, not like a Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Jimmy Butler, but like a random Heat player who like people forget about who had like major contributions. Like a name I think of is like Mike Miller, a guy who like he hit all those threes. I think his shoe came off one game in the Spurs series,
Mhm.
and like he hit like another three. But like I also think of Birdman too for whatever reason. But like who are like some Heat players that you could grew up watching who you think are forgotten or had like major contributions to like the Heat culture, not just a championship team, but the Heat culture itself.
I'll let you go.
You know what? So I'll go. I'm gonna go. This is a little bit more, I guess, championship. But so my first guy is going to be Shane Battier because we were on in that 2013, 2000, like that whole Big Three era. Shane Battier was on that team, but you also had Ray Allen. So everyone was like, "Oh, Ray Allen's like the 3-point specialist." But I remember, and I mean, I was a younger kid, but I remember there being games where Shane Battier would come up huge and sort of fill in the role of like a Max Strus role player that right now, where he'll come in and he'll just lights out from three. And like when you got role players like Shane Battier, like making stuff like that, like you're gonna win games. So I think he was a big guy that gets forgotten about a lot because he made a big difference in our series. But another person that gets forgotten a lot, and I mean I know he's part of the big three, but he's often overshadowed is Chris Bosh because of how, he his abrupt leave in the league and all that, which was devastating as a Heat fan. But Chris Bosh was a huge part of our success. Like that whole Ray Allen 3, like, yes, Ray Allen made a historic shot in game 6 of that 2013 finals. But Chris Bosh made that happen. And a lot of people forget about that. A lot of people also forget that, at the end of that game 6 in overtime, Chris Bosh had a game-saving block with, at the time, Danny Green's the best three-point shooter in the league. Goes up for a block in the corner against Danny Green. Basic, like, and you never know with that kind of stuff. So I think he was overshadowed a lot. But so my two answers are Shane Battier and Chris Bosh. So what do you think, Mike?
I'm gonna kind of kick it old school with one, and it's got to be Ronnie Cycli, the Black Hole. He's a DJ now, but love Ronnie Cycli. He played back like when Tim Hardaway was on the team, Glenn Rice. I mean, even Steve Smith when we drafted him. Ronnie Cycli was just a really good role-playing center. I mean, he averaged pretty much a double-double. The only really bad downside effect with him was really when he gave it into the post, kind of passed the ball out. So that was one bad thing. His teammates, I guess Tim Hardaway used to talk about it. Steve Smith talked about it. But Ronnie Cycli was just head nose. We've always had these big men that have come to the Heat and have had some factor. I mean, either they are like stars. I mean, Hassan Whiteside. This is Hassan Whiteside jersey, not 21 for Jimmy Butler because he's always worn 22 on the Heat. But Hassan Whiteside came in, unfortunately, when he kind of signed the contract and saw the big money. Kind of disappeared his act from there, but we've always had guys that have come in as big men and just kind of dominated and took down the role, being the main guy down low. And Ronnie Cycli was that for the Heat for back in like the late '90s, and was an absolute stud, just a role player. Wasn't all-star talent. He didn't even go to the all-star at least once. Probably could have been argued to be one, but obviously back in the day, bigs were just a hot commodity and were like the best thing in the NBA back in the day, the 90s and 80s. So, but Ronnie Cycli is one for sure because he was just double every night, could just get every rebound, could score, really was unguardable, was just a bit kind of like a 6'9", 6'10" guy. So he was really just mobile like Bam, just more dominant inside, just more got you with jump hooks and everything. So Ronnie Cycli. And then probably a little bit older. I got to say this. I don't if you guys remember Carlos Arroyo.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
really good. Really was like.
I didn't know he played for the Heat though. I thought he played for the Rock. He played for the Heat.
Yeah, he played for the Heat. Carlos Arroyo.
Oh yeah.
He was on a team when we weren't doing as well. They probably weren't like crazy dominant, but like we made obviously consistent in the playoffs, but. Obviously, we were out in the first round, but Carlos Arroyo was like really a good epiphany of being like a role-playing point guard. Like he was almost like how Tyus Jones is right now. He was our Tyus Jones. Yeah. Like he made smart passes, could score the ball when he wanted to, but made smart passes, and he was really hard-nosed defender. Like, oh my gosh, somebody said, do you know the Knuckleheads podcast?
Yeah, that podcast.
You know how one of the things, you know how one of their question is who bust your, like who was the first person to bust?
Like, the first player to bust your.
I forgot who it was, but a point guard said Carlos Arroyo was an absolute stud.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forget who it was, but he said, "Do y'all remember Carlos Arroyo?" And he was a monster. He was great with the like crazy handle, but I feel like right now how he would kind of be compared would probably be like a Tyus Jones right now. Just made the smart pass. His assist to turnover ratio was really, really good. And he was actually on. He was a little bit with. I think he kind of played late with LeBron. I think he was on that LeBron against a Mavs team, but then I think retired after that, or he didn't play anymore. But also another thing is the reason why I said his name is he's also Puerto Rican, and my family's Puerto Rican, so I love that little thing. So the culture in Miami is. I mean, all my Latinos are in Miami, so it's always good to see that.
Yeah, you guys remember a guy remembered torch just watching. Then he would torch players. Was Rashard Lewis, bro? Like he would, bro. He was a sniper. He would. I just remember, dude. The Heat always had just random guys who peaked. Like their career peak was like literally with the Heat for some
Mhm.
reason. Well, Rashard Lewis had a good years. I think the Supersonics and I think the Magic. So he had a good career, but there's just a bunch of guys the Heat had. Like I wanted to ask that question because like He'd have always had. I think Alex brings a great point up with Chris Bosh though. Like that also brings me to like I've been thinking it lately. I've been seeing it on podcasts, but um, like you see like there's some players that I think in our generation that aren't going to be talked about a lot, and like future generations, and like our kids are just like just the younger generation might ask us like who is like a guy who is like a killer, a dog when we were growing up who they don't talk about enough. And I don't know who that's going to be, but I think those are great names. Honestly, Chris Bosh might be one of those guys who's not going to get his name brought up a lot. And the one guy who said it, I think it was Spencer Dinwiddie, but like who talks about T Mac now? Like
Mhm.
like there's going to be some guys that like
Talks about
the
Grant
future
Hill
generation
before the
won't talk about.
injuries.
Dude, T Mac, yeah, exactly. I wish T Mac. Like, I mean, obviously everyone talks about like the
Brandon
13
Roy.
points, in 30 seconds.
That
Brandon Roy, yeah,
if he didn't
yeah,
mess up his knee, that dude was shooting
he was.
from the hash line before people were doing that. Dude was a monster for Portland.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing it with Dame, and now he's about to leave. And hopefully to
Dame.
Miami.
I think Dame's gonna be a guy who doesn't get talked about
I
enough.
hope
We're
it's
gonna win
Miami.
this finals.
Yeah.
I pray, and then he
And then
comes
we're
and
gonna
we get a
take Dame.
repeat next year. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
But what do you give up for Dame though? Like, what's the asking price for Dame? Like, I don't know what the Blazers are gonna ask for. You'd have to give up Hero, obviously.
You gotta give up Hero.
Most likely.
Heroes.
I
So then,
hope
Hero.
what's the trade? Or Mike, whoever wants to. But like, what's the trade? Like, what do you guys give up for Dame? Like, you win a championship. Say if you win a championship, like that'd be a big shakeup to a championship team.
well, you could put
You
the
know,
benefit that he really wants to get out of there at this point. I know they probably want picks and obviously players that come into that. And I mean, I would love to keep our team intact, and I hate to bring these names up, but I'm pretty sure asking prices at this point, how they see it in performances, I wouldn't be shocked if Portland's like that Caleb Martin guy. Can we get him? Can we get Gabe Vincent?
yeah.
We need another guard. We
Yeah.
need a.
But like, look what teams got for Gobert and Mitchell, and Dame's a whole nother level in both of those. So it's like the asking price is like that. What
Asking
was
price
the
right
Gobert
now
trade?
is
3
out
first
the
round
window.
picks?
You could ask for anything, but it just really depends on what
Anything.
Portland wants. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
if they want picks, I don't think we can't we get rid of our.
Like, how many can you give up? Like, how many is enough picks for Damian Lillard? Like, I don't know.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
What's your take on it, Alex?
I think like Gabe Vincent. I think you gotta give like I think if we make any big trade, Tyler Hero's out.
Yeah.
Like, and by doing that, I mean he was a part of this team in the regular season, but right now, like he hasn't done anything for us. So it's like getting rid of Tyler Hero, like you're not gonna really blow up that chemistry. I think Tyler Hero, you're gonna have guys like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Caleb Martin, like you said, that are gonna be brought up because these are guys with I think they are having expiring contracts, but playing well. Like, and you know what? Like, I love these guys, but when you get a chance to get Damian Lillard, I think like you got to go for it. Like as long as we keep like our Bam, Jimmy, like keep that core intact. Like,
Oh yeah, they might ask for Bam.
I don't know about that. I
Bam
don't
is
know if we give up
untouchable.
Bam.
Bam's untouchable. I agree.
He should be, but
I agree.
what? Yeah, I mean, I no, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you guys could give up Bam and Tyler Hero. Like, I don't know if it would be worth that.
I think Bam and Jimmy have to stay.
Yeah, I think
like
Jimmy and Bam
we made it this far.
untouchable at this point.
That should have. Yeah,
For sure.
I agree.
I think everybody else is like, it's like, what are we willing to give up?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they probably throw in the younger names like Jovic, Highsmith too.
Yeah.
They want to
Yeah, Jovic, we can definitely. I mean, I'm not saying get rid of Jovic right away because obviously he didn't really have room to prove for us. I mean,
really play.
barely even played. I mean, got sent to the G League a couple times, and I mean, killed it there. But I mean, once you're like a first round pick and you get sent to the G League, I think everyone kind of kills it down there. But I know it's a good like confidence booster. So you kill it down there, going straight to the league, and then you get that chance, you get that effort from that behalf. But yeah, it's really going to be down to what Portland is like. What do we want? Like, okay, we can just get rid of him. He doesn't want to be here anymore. Because we've seen that where they're Gobert trade. Give him everything. Like, send the whole house, send everything. Or you have, I forgot what trade it was, but like they kind of didn't give anything for anything because he wanted to get out of there. They were like, oh, he doesn't want to be here.
Jay Crowder? No, Jay Crowder was like the 5 second-round picks.
Yeah.
But he didn't even play.
But there's been teams that given up they're probably one of their other best players just because that one player didn't want to be there anymore. So we've seen probably where we're like, dang, that was really what y'all got for that? I think he's probably a little bit more valued than that. But sometimes when you got that one player that doesn't want to be there, you're just like, golly, do we want to keep you? Like, you don't want to be around us. So,
yeah. I think you guys, those are very good. I mean, coming from Heat fans, I guess what you're saying. But I have I'll ask you guys another question. Both you guys can give me an answer. Who's like an up and coming star, or who's an up and coming name who you guys think is gonna like really like take a leap? It could be next year, the year after that. I mean, for me personally, I'm a huge Anthony Edwards fan. I think he's got what it takes. Maybe it's getting out of Minnesota is what his next step. But if you both had to like give me a name to be like, Anthony Edwards might not even be the best example because he already is a big name out there. But like, if you had to give me a player who like you guys think is really going to take a next step, really elevate his game next season, or as I said, the year after that, whatever it may be, what's a name you guys think? It's like this guy is going to be one to like he's going to be scary. It's a deep question. I mean, Anthony Edwards is just a name I've always been like, this guy is going to be it.
I got a name. I think you're gonna like it, Brian.
Brunson?
I think Jalen Brunson. I love that guy. I've praised that man ever since the Garden. He's a dog, and I feel like if he takes another step, and then your Knicks obliged by getting probably another good wing player, another good something to the team, team can take you far. That team can take you far. Yeah. I've seen the effort. Jalen Brunson brings me is a name. I'm thinking LaMelo Ball, but he's stuck in Charlotte, unfortunately.
Stuck in Charlotte.
So
and he's always hurt though too. But Charlotte's not the place.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with Anthony Edwards, even though he is already kind of a big name. But
yeah, he's kind of screwed. I love Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards. But young, I mean, Christian Braun. Christian Braun has a chance to become a better starter probably for the Nuggets next year. I like Christian Braun. Mm-hmm. Christian Braun's a beast. He's solid.
I'm thinking. So it depends upon what offseason moves happen, but Tyrese Maxey, if James Harden gets moved or whatever, I think Tyrese Maxey stepping up to be that second best player on the Sixers. I think he has a lot of room to show what he can do because I think being that third option on that team really overshadows like what he's able to do. So if they move James Harden, which I think they will, I think Tyrese Maxey is going to be one of those guys that could step up and could make an all-star team, depending upon how well him and Embiid play together and how well the Sixers succeed. So
good name drop. That was a really good one, Alex. That was good. I didn't even think about it. That's bad.
That was actually. Yeah, I'm surprised.
You just remind me of somebody. You know who also could make a trip? Because I mean, like you said, if moves happen,
Austin Reeves.
You said Austin Reeves, correct? Austin Reeves won. But I was thinking over there in Portland, Sharp has a chance to blow up next year, and he's a beast. Shaden Sharp or Anthony Simons, because he'll now get just more playing time. He will probably be now Damian Lillard on that team. He's their I feel he's their number one scorer. Really, I think so. He was their number one scorer. I don't think it was Jeremy Grant or.
Grant. Yeah. Are you talking about Simons or Sharp?
Simons.
Oh,
Sharp Sharp can develop into a second role and maybe be like that TJ McCollum to him or another just really good wing player to Anthony Simons. But Anthony Simons is definitely probably gonna have to he won. They're expecting him to get up to that role, but I'm pretty sure he's like, this is gonna be my team now, and I'm the point guard. I'm the leading scorer on this team, and Simons can ball out. I mean, Yeah, he balls out. So I feel like that's another name that could definitely, if Damian Lillard,
Josh Giddey's also a name I think of.
he's a good one.
Giddey with that Shea Gilgeous backcourt. I mean, obviously Shea gets most of the praise, rightfully so. He's a really fundamental player. He doesn't really kind of like not. I'm not comparing him to Tim Duncan, but he's just like he's not flashy at all. So that's another name, But yeah, I mean the league's in good hands. But like as I've said before, I've said it to Alex and a couple of other
Is the
friends,
league
like,
in good hands?
well, I'm thinking like, what is ESPN gonna do when Curry and LeBron retire? Because like
Yeah.
literally they're showing like ads for like the Lakers championship in 2020 still and the Warriors championship and didn't say anything about the Bucks. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all they
It's
ever
weird.
show.
Like
It's LeBron and Curry. I mean, yeah. I don't even know what's ESPN going to talk. What's First Take going to talk about when they talk about the NBA when LeBron retires? Who are they going to talk
dude,
about?
Yeah.
I knew it was bad when this is when the Heat were up 3-0 and the Nuggets just swept the Lakers and the first thing ESPN talks about is the question was, are the Lakers and Celtics getting swept? Is that bad for the NBA? Like what are we talking about here? Like it made no sense to me. Like why not talk about the teams that won?
That won exactly. You know why? It's just it's what happens, and this is why I have like a burning sensation with this matchup that we have in the finals, Heat and Nuggets, because we're two teams that are very undervalued, and we're very very like Heat probably not this year, but like we were number one last year. Why? Where did all that narrative go? I know we didn't do a regular season, but playoffs. I'm sorry, we still have a lot better record in the playoffs than a lot of other these teams that are in the top of the league because we actually win and we advance. So it's weird that ESPN. It's going to be very interesting what the media does when LeBron retires, when Curry's like, I'm done. Like they're probably gonna focus on this crazy little things that keep going on in Memphis and New Orleans. So
What about Victor would be a guy too. I think they're going to be, especially with the whole
Victor
going to
Wembanyama.
yeah, Victor Wembanyama. I hope he works out because I mean, like this draft is an interesting draft. 2 weeks away, right? 2 weeks away, I believe, or a week away.
June 20. It's less than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks, so it's gonna be. This is interesting because I do like Victor Wembanyama, but I cannot wait to see Scoot Henderson in the NBA.
Boots. Yeah,
Scoot is
he's a. I think people. Do you what do you guys like? Are people overhyping Victor? Do you guys think he's getting the hype he deserves? What do you guys?
You see, my thing here, and I thought this same exact thing with Chet Holmgren. Like those two guys, and I mean they're on different levels. Victor is way above Chet, in my opinion, but these are two guys that are really skilled. They're big who can play outside the perimeter, which is what the way the NBA is going. But the only thing that concerns me, like with Victor and with Chet, is their size. They are skinny guys. And when you're going up against guys like Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo, because that's going to be the matchups down low when you get deep into the postseason, I don't know how that works. Yeah, you could spread the floor with Victor and have him shoot threes, but if you're having him play as your big man, I don't think he competes with Joel Embiid and Giannis and Nikola, at least for the first 3 years. Now, we have seen people like Giannis who came into the league really skinny and then bulk up and get huge. But as of right now, that's a little concerning for me because you need to be physical in order to make a run in this game. We've seen that with the Heat and Nuggets. They're both very physical teams, and that's why they've gotten this far, or at least part of the reason. So I don't know. I think Victor needs to make a bunch of adjustments, and I mean, maybe he is, but I think he's a little overhyped, but I think he's going to be a good player. It's just best prospect ever. I still got LeBron James.
Yeah, I think you bring up good points. Like, what's your thoughts?
I mean, overhyped, yes. I mean, social media is gonna now do that. I mean, social media now is so everywhere nowadays. I feel like now you could just poke something in 5 seconds and become viral just like that. So I mean, he's very overhyped. I mean, obviously it's gonna affect him. Obviously, I mean he's coming from Europe, and EuroLeague is not so much big over there. Basketball's not as big as soccer. So him coming over to America and just being this anomaly, 7'5", could literally shoot over you without jumping, could dribble past you, dunk on you, get a rebound over you. I know he doesn't look strong, and that's definitely going to be a benefactor. He's definitely going to have to prove that side if he can bang down low with bigger guys. Or, we're going to see a very generational move right now with his talent because maybe the paint just becomes non-existent, I guess. But, I mean, I hope not. I hope not because I do like the craft of guys that like to go down low, like Nikolai Jokic. I mean, I know another big man. I even talked about him on the Rockets, Sengun, down low in the post is also really good. So I just hope he could develop. I hope he does have like a little bit of a Giannis thing. He comes in the league, bulks up, starts getting bigger. Because I hope the same thing for Chet. I'm not gonna say it was a crazy take, Alex. I do like the whole fact that you said Victor Wembanyama over Chet, and I could definitely understand that. But I also was talking a lot about Chet too because I like Chet. Chet is another guy that's 7 foot, can take you out of the perimeter, can beat you out there, and he can kind of come down here and bang a little bit low because I feel like he was developing a little bit more of a. I wouldn't say I would say a post game, but it was more in the mid range, which I liked when he was at Gonzaga because he was hitting those post fadeaways. Which I mean, when you're 7 foot and his wingspan is crazy, you could shoot over anybody. So for him, it was I want to see how he has a lot to prove here, but obviously with his injury, I feel like and that Thunder team is very scary too, with how young they are and all the young talent they have. It's just the talent they have. It's not even the fact that they're all a bunch of young guys. It's like these young guys actually have talent to like be really, really good together. So I want to see how that goes. But I think we're starting to see these unicorn type of players where it's just like 7-1, 7-2. They can bring you all the way out here. They can do absolutely everything. So we'll see it from there. Is he I will say, yeah, he's overhyped. But I mean, at that point, he just has to prove it. At this point, once he gets drafted, he's got to prove it. And I just hope his body doesn't collapse on him is the only thing because we have seen how big men or just men in general that are 7'4", 7'5", 7'6", their injuries are a lot more worse than guys that are like average height or even regular guys that are in the league that are like 6'3", 6'4". Like their injuries are a lot more because they have like just huge, lengthy, and everything. So it's interesting. We're gonna see a lot with Victor, but so
yeah, I think I mean I agree. I think yeah, you both bring up great points. Obviously with Chet, I mean he got that bone bruise and was out for the season. Unfortunate, but my only question about OKC is like, will they be able to retain all these guys? If all these players live up to their hype or with their draft picks or draft scenarios, because like that's going to be a lot of guys. Like you said, Jalen Williams, he was first team all rookie this year. And they're going to pay Shea. Giddy's probably going to have a contract coming up. And then if Chet is that player they believe he will be, and then they have a top whatever pick. I think that they have like a top. I think they have like the 11th pick or something like that. They might have traded that to Orlando. I don't know, but yeah, dude,
Magic have like 2-3 picks in the lottery.
Yeah, they do. They do have a lot. Yeah, this draft class is definitely a different sort of draft class. Like I always see, like if it was any other draft class, Scoot would probably be the number one pick, or he'd definitely be the number one pick. I think, but it's just Victor's there, and it makes sense him going to San Antonio and following the footsteps of David Robinson and Tim Duncan, those number one picks in the Spurs franchise.
Yeah. You even got guys like the Thompson twins. I mean, I think a lot too now with this. I mean, even social media has done this and helped it out. I mean, we're starting to see these young guys not go to college. I mean, we've heard a lot in the last years, even with football, even with like basketball and football, like being the big sports in America. But like colleges, like people are like, oh, like I mean, football, yeah, you got to go to college and stuff like that. But I mean, with basketball, you not can just go to the G League, make money, and be a star. And Scoot has been an example of that. He did it right out of high school. I believe he didn't even finish high school just yet, and he joined. He just was 18. He was the legal age to join the league, and he's going to be a number one pick here, or possibly could be number one pick if he gets picked. But he's argued to be number one, and he's a stud too. I like him. I like Thompson twins. Thompson twins also another G League guys that just did their thing in the G League. They're super, super young, so they have the potential to really take the league by storm. Because I mean, we've already said it here with just the league that we have. We're pushed right now on just younger guys that are just like 23, 24 that are just absolute stars in this league. So now bringing in Scoot Henderson and Victor, it's like now we got to start thinking about, like, is this a generation move? Or are we going to start seeing more of these 7-foot monsters, these like Chet Holmgren and Victor? Or are we going to see these guys that are coming straight out of high school, going to the G League and killing it, and then just coming in the league and doing it more? So,
yeah.
So we'll have to see. But this is going to be an interesting draft because it's not a lot of big names, but because I think
arguably the biggest name.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but arguably the biggest name, which is why
it's crazy because it's like they don't have a lot of names, but like two big names, the names that they have could possibly be.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Well, we'll definitely have to see. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to see how it all works out.
For sure.
Me too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I mean, the finals. That's what we're focusing on right now. So hopefully that's how. Hopefully things work out. I mean, last thoughts though for the finals. I want to just kind of get this. Alex, do we win tonight?
Yes, we can't lose both in Miami. I think we come out tonight. You know, we talked about the Heat culture a little bit earlier and how they always brought the effort. I did not see that effort in Game 3. We were getting outworked on the boards, and our turnovers weren't bad, but outworked on the boards. The effort was not there. That is not the Heat culture. We're going to come out tonight, and we're going to come out the way we should have came out in Game 3. We're going to win this game tonight. It's going to be a close one, just like Game 2, but we have to win this one, and I think we know it. So we're going to win this one.
Brian, give me your last thoughts. Give me what do we see tonight?
Tonight, before I say that, Mike, for the record, I was on the phone with Andre during Game 1 of the finals. Before the game, shout out Films by ID, our content creator, and I swear you can ask him about it. Before the game started, I said, "What was the final? Whatever the final was. Oh, it was 104-93." And I told him before the game, the Nuggets are going to win 104-93. This is before the game started, and that's exactly what happened. I'm not saying I'm LeBron where I know the future, but I just thought that was kind of unique. But for tonight, Mike, as a basketball fan, I hope the Heat win. I'm going to stick with my prediction of Nuggets in 6, but the Heat are going to bounce back. It's going to be a chippy game. Give me the Nuggets.
You're going Nuggets.
Oh, Nuggets.
That's fine. That's fine. I understand. That's fine. That's fine. My thoughts on it, yes, I didn't like the way we played the turnover battle. Like I said, we know our defense is our cup of tea. We just need to make shots. We're still in Miami. I know we can still do our thing. We'll come back tonight. I feel like tonight, Heat even it up, and then I think this series gets a lot, even though as good as it is right now, this series gets a lot better tonight after we win tonight, because then the real test is going back to Denver and proving either what we got or just what the Nuggets already have or who they are. So, but I'm taking my Heat tonight. I'm very confident about it. That confidence coffee. I need me a little bit of that. I need that confidence coffee. So
yeah.
For sure, I'm gonna go with my Heat. You already see, I already got my things ready. My shirt already fell right here, but all classic Heat shirt. But I got it. I really, really believe tonight we're gonna win. Here's one thing that I'm very consistent about, and I'll even say it here because we proved it against probably the best team in the NBA with the Nuggets. You do not want a close game with us. You do not.
Agreed.
You want to blow us out early and run away with it. Do not have a close game with us. I have been confident every single time. If we are down by 10 or less in the fourth quarter, starting the fourth quarter, you're not keeping that lead. You're not winning that game. If you're blowing us by 15 or more, I can understand the way the Nuggets run their offense in the second half. They kind of slow it down. They look at every little option they have, which has worked out for them. And the 2 games they've won, they've dominated. Like, it's looked like they've killed us on every level. They embarrass us. But the 2 games that they've lost against us have been close games, and we either run away with it right at the end, and we're just good, or we hold on to it and we're like, we got the lead. We came. So I would just say for the Nuggets, if you want to beat us tonight in Miami, you better blow it out early. If you do not, you keep us in the game, or we take our lead. We're not because our gas pedal does not come off the dash. It stays on the dash. So
For sure.
So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. But I have confidence tonight. Heat take game 4 and 2-2, and we go back to Denver. I'll say that.
Yeah, and that is question. Can we, if we can take, I think we cannot win game 7 in Denver. Like, I think if we win this series, and I think we can win this series, we have to win 3 in a row. We have to win tonight. We have to win game 5, and then we have to win game 6 in Miami. I don't think we're winning a game 7 in Denver.
No, I agree. I have to agree with that. It's just what, and this is where I'm kind of like. It's funny that you questioned this earlier. You talked about how like Jimmy Butler thinks when it's like not hanging on your head on the last game. I just feel like I don't know why this is with the Heat. When we're on top, it's like we lose games and it's like whatever. But we're in the bottom, our backs against the wall. We have nothing to lose. We have nothing to gain, nothing to lose. We're backs against the wall.
Yes.
Game 7, I said it. I said if we win the series, I said, Brian, my realistic thing, if we win the series, it's game 7. Back against the wall.
I mean,
this is.
Yeah. You did it in Boston, to be fair.
I did not expect, once we started that game, here was my thing was after game 5, before game 6 started for Boston, I was like, there is no way we go to TD Garden and win a game 7. And then we lose game 6 like that. Once we lost game 6 like that, I was like, okay, we're going to bounce back.
Yeah.
There's no way we lose a game
like that game
bounce back. So, the game 6 was rough. I was with Brian watching that game.
There was silence for 10 minutes after
rough.
We weren't even going to say what happened.
I flipped 2 chairs after that game 6 game. After that game 6 game, I flipped 2 chairs. Oh, don't even get me started on that game. I flipped 2 chairs. I had to go outside. I was like, I can't. So I can't even look at the screen.
I had to go for a walk.
I had to get a little fresh breath of air. Even my parents were calling me. My whole family was calling me, and I was ignoring. I was furious. I was like, I was bad, but
yeah.
Like I said, even then, I'm telling you, man, our backs against the wall. We have nothing to win, nothing to lose. Everyone's against us. They're like, oh, Nugget. I think we played amazing in those times. So I'm not saying I'm asking for it. I think these next 3 games for sure need to be on our side. We definitely need to control the games. But
so wait, you guys, Mike, does Alex have Heat in 6 and Mike has Heat in 7? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think that's what you're hearing. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a Boston. It's going to be a Boston situation where I think if we win, I don't think it's very realistic for us to win 3 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to win tonight in Denver and then in Miami. I think if we win the series, it's going to be in Denver, but it depends upon how game 6 goes.
Yeah.
I think if we got, I kind of praying for that. If we have a heartbreaking loss in game 6, like we did with Boston, like Mike said, when the Heat come out with their backs against the wall, nothing to lose, and they just fight, they're the best team in basketball. No team can beat them like that. Because when all those guys are dialed in, if they're all dialed in with their back against the wall and everyone thinks that they're going to get smoked, that's when you get guys like Max Strus that are putting up 22 a game and whatnot. So
Gabe Vincent and Davis in the corner, come on now.
Yeah, I do agree that it's going to be, if the Heat win this series, it's going to be Heat in 7, but there's a lot of factors that go into it. It's not just going to be it's got to be a dogfight all throughout in order for that to happen.
Brian, I was texting you when we're game 7. We have to win quarters. Every quarter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I sent this man. I don't know, Alex, if you've seen it. I sent this man 1 quarter, check. We won that one. 2nd quarter, check. We won that one. First half, check. We won the first half. We need to win quarters. Because that's also a strategic thing in playing basketball. I've heard it even when I was playing in high school. I hear it even college coaches talk about it. You win every quarter, you win the game.
Yeah.
Really? I've never heard that one before.
That's
I mean, I've been in basketball for a while, but I mean that makes a lot of
Yeah, win
sense.
quarters. You win every quarter. You win the game. You win most quarters. You win the game.
Yeah, I think I knew after the game 6, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't text Mike just because I know he was going through it. I was with Alex and Andre, and I Celtics fan and a Heat fan, so I saw both sides of,
Both emotions, yeah.
yeah, and I think it's only fitting that Jimmy Butler goes up 3-0. I'm not saying he let the Celtics come back, but it's only fitting that they came back just for Jimmy and the Heat to get the boys rolling to go into Boston and just blow them out of the water.
Yeah.
He literally just costed Jaylen Brown that massive contract extension. Because who wants to sign Jaylen Brown? A video's coming out on that soon. Shout out to all the socials. But like I don't know. It was literally only fitting that Jimmy Butler's the type of guy to blow a 3-0 lead just to win in 7.
Just that makes it's kind of I agree. That's pretty valid, but
Win in 7, win in 4. It's the same result.
that's true.
That's true.
Same result.
Yeah.
W. And we're in the finals, so that was the result. Derek White, dang it, man. Why were you at the good point? Max Strus, what were you doing on the court? I'm not going to talk about it.
Derek White's still looking for his hairline, man.
Oh. But, I mean, we'll have to see. Tonight is definitely going to be a game to watch, so we'll see how it goes. We pray. Alex, we just got to pray at this point. At this point, we just got to pray.
For sure.
Pray. We got this. We got this. We got this, though.
I think we got it.
Tonight, I think we got it. So, but hey, man, this was great, Alex. I want to thank you, man, for coming on, man. It's always good to have a fellow Heat fan. So trust me, I love having you around, my guy. Definitely enjoy tonight, the game and everything. Wear all your red, wear all your Heat stuff. That's what I'm gonna be doing.
Yes, sir.
But no, it was good having you, man. Do you have any last minute things you want to say? Anything you want to say? Any shout outs or anything? So go ahead.
Yeah, I got 2 shout outs, so I gotta give a shout out to Films by AD.
Yes, sir.
He does wonders for this podcast, and he does wonders for other groups. He's a great editor. So you need an editor, reach out to Films by AD. Andre DeBagian, great guy. Also got to shout out the good buddies of New Jersey, starting soon, starting in 2 weeks. We're coming different, so Films by AD and Good Buddies Official on Instagram. Give it a look. But it was a pleasure coming on here. I love talking hoops. I love talking to a fellow Heat fan. There's not a lot of them in New Jersey, so it's always nice. I always get a lot of hate for the Heat, but it was a pleasure being on. So thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yes, sir. I don't want to forget to shout out the socials though.
Yeah.
But obviously, Alex, it was a pleasure having you on. I'm still yet to have a Knicks fan on with me. It's been only Heat fans because we had Tanner Mounts on not too long ago. But shout out to the socials, man. Shout out as you know, we're out on all platforms at Hoopin with Mike and Brian, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, literally any place you can listen to a podcast, we're there. We're also on Instagram and TikTok at hoopin.mb, and we're also at Twitter at hoopin_mb. And swipe up on Instagram stories, leave a comment, DM us. We're open to all suggestions and whatnot. But thank you again, Alex, for joining us. Mike, it's great being back in the stew, and I wish you guys luck for the rest of the finals. I'm just hoping for good basketball games. But this is probably one of our best episodes. So this is it was great to have 2 Heat fans doing this with me. Not really, but
it's burning inside as a Knicks fan.
I know. I got this thing over here just cheering me up a little bit. But
you can take it down. Put a Heat up one. Put a Jimmy Butler one. That'd be nice. But hey, that's awesome. We love our special guests, man. We've had a couple special guests. We had your dad, Mr. Corby, on here. We had Tanner on here, and then we got our boy Alex on here. So it's good to have you, Alex. Thanks again for coming on, talking hoops, letting your knowledge, put your basketball IQ out here. We love it, and definitely got to have you on again. Definitely got to probably put you on some little content with us. Maybe we could do like some crazy stuff. But
sounds good to me.
Right? But other than that, definitely follow us on all our socials. Stay tuned we got more content coming out. Brian has a lot more content he's going to be dropping here soon on IG, I believe, and on TikTok, I believe. I have some content I'm going to be dropping myself as well on TikTok because we've been storming up some great ideas together, and hey, remember, it's always up from here. So all I got to say is just keep supporting, keep hooping.